What is up, guys, and welcome back to another video. And today we're going over 10 awesome cartoons that got canceled for the dumbest reasons. Number 10, Green Lantern the Animated Series. Green Lantern the Animated Series premiered on the Cartoon Network in 2012 and only lasted one season before getting canceled in 2013. It was a cartoon featuring Hal Jordan, a test pilot from planet Earth, the first human being to join the Green Lantern Corps. The Green Lantern Corps was an extragalactic police force that has to keep peace and justice throughout the entire universe. Jordan travels through the galaxy, across planets and stars with his counterparts Kilowog, Aah, and the Razor the Red Lantern. Their mission was to fight the evil wherever it is in the universe to protect all life forms. This awesome cartoon was cancelled for quite possibly the dumbest reason yet. It did not sell enough toys. Cartoon Network's Green Lantern line of toys for the show was not doing so well, although the show was popular and ratings were high. Instead of giving the show and toy line another season to grow, the network just canceled it. Number 9, Doug. The show Doug had a very simple premise. An 11-and-a-half-year-old boy named Doug lived his life and wrote about it in his journal. Doug, his family, and his dog named Porkchop moved to a new town where he met his new friends Skeeter, Patty, Roger, and Beeb. He writes about his life in his journal, sometimes imagining himself as a superhero named Quailman to help himself figure out difficult situations and decisions. The show debuted on Nickelodeon in 1990 and was canceled in 1994 after 52 episodes. Although still a popular fan favorite, they canceled it because they claimed it was too expensive to continue. Disney then picked up the series, but promptly fired the voice of Doug in order to keep costs down and make the show budget more manageable. The show lasted 3 years with Disney, but it was cancelled once again after it failed to show the same ratings as before. Many fans said that once the show moved to Disney, it lost its sparkle and the Nickelodeon version was much better. Had Disney decided to keep the original voice of Doug, who knows what would have happened. Number 8, Megas XLR. Megas XLR was a show that was voted on Cartoon Network by fans to become their next cartoon. It premiered in 2004 and only lasted 2 seasons. The show was set in a distant future in the year 3037. It centered on 2 teenage slackers, Coop and Jamie, who find a robot named Megas from the future that had been lying in the New Jersey junkyard for 60 years. Coop, who is a mechanic, modifies the robot and renames him XLR, Extra Large Robot. They must defend the Earth from an evil alien race. At the time, the Earth was losing a war with the alien race, and they decided to use the modified robot as a powerful war machine. Although fans voted for it and loved it, the network decided to cancel it to give more airtime to other similar executive-backed shows. A bad move by the network because the ratings were high and the fans were loving it. Number 7, Danny Phantom. Danny Phantom debuted in 2004 on Nickelodeon. It focused on a teenage boy, Danny, who was a typical shy wallflower-type kid. He became half ghost, half human after making his way inside a ghost portal after accidentally blowing up his parents' lab. In episodes, Danny had to navigate life as a teenage boy while also dealing with being a ghost and having some very cool paranormal powers. Only his 2 best friends, Samantha and Tucker, knew his secret. It started out with high ratings, but they started to dwindle since the show was competing with huge shows such as SpongeBob and Fairly Odd Parents. Despite the dwindling ratings, there were many diehard fans of the show who continued to watch. However, the show was very expensive to make and executives decided the cost was just too much and they canceled the show in 2007. If they were able to keep the cost low, there would have been a different outcome. Number 6, Invader Zim. Invader Zim was one of Nickelodeon's most funny and most random series ever. It premiered in 2001. The show followed an alien named Zim who was sent on a mission to conquer planet Earth and enslave its citizens. He came from a planet called Urk with his malfunctioning robot servant named GIR. I don't really remember, to be honest with you guys. He manages to fit in with other school children on Earth, but one boy ends up seeing through his disguise. He's antagonized by a young paranormal investigator named Dib, who is determined to stop Zim from succeeding. Nickelodeon's goal for the show was to attract an older teen audience after the kids show ended for the day. However, the show ended up attracting too many adults and Nickelodeon wasn't happy about that. That was not the vision they had for their network. They decided to cancel it before the end of the show's 2nd season despite its popularity. Some of the second season episodes were never even aired. Number 5, Aah Real Monsters. Aah Real Monsters was a show on Nickelodeon from 1994 through 1997. It was a silly show about 3 monster friends who were children attending monster school to learn how to scare humans. The episodes were focused on them completing assignments in order to learn how to be a good scarer. Often, their attempts to learn how to scare did not turn out as planned. After some time, the show had a drastic change and started bringing in darker elements. Executives thought it was too much for children to handle, so they had the writers tone it down and make it similar to other children's shows that were popular at the time. In reality, kids loved the darker version of Aah Real Monsters, and the tamer version started losing viewers. If they had just kept it a little bit darker, it would have become even more of a success with children, and it wouldn't have been cancelled in the first place. Number 4, Animaniacs. Animaniacs premiered in 1993 on the Fox network and was a big hit with entire families. Adults loved the witty jokes, and children loved the silly humor and slapstick comedy that was a hallmark of Animaniacs. The show featured a large cast of characters including Wacko and Yakko and their sister Dot, 3 siblings who have a wonderful time creating havoc in the lives of everyone they meet. Everything went downhill after Warner Bros. Took over Animaniacs. The Warner Bros. Put it in the time block intended for children, and they quickly lost half of their audience. The ratings were still somewhat high because of lots of children still watching, but the show wasn't doing what WB expected. They started to slow down production of the show until finally canceling it in 1998. Number 3, Young Justice. Young Justice was a phenomenal series that ran for only 2 seasons on the Cartoon Network in 2010. It was focused on teenage superheroes and sidekicks trying to establish themselves while also dealing with normal teenage issues. Young Justice was an adaptation of the entire DC universe. Due to the mostly even amount of male and female superheroes with strong storylines, it was a big hit with boys and girls alike. However, executives decided that it was targeting the wrong audience and promptly canceled it halfway through the second season. The primary reason was that there were too many girls watching it and they wanted it to appeal to boys. The reason they didn't want it to appeal to girls is because they thought that girls don't buy toys. Another great show canceled for a very dumb reason. Number 2, Pinky and the Brain. Pinky and the Brain was a show on the WB about 2 lab mice whose genes had been spliced. The Brain was a genius and Pinky was pretty much insane. Episodes showed that each night the 2 would come up with a plan to take over the planet Earth before the next morning. The show ran from 1995 through 1998. At the time, the show The Simpsons was extremely popular, so executives decided on a concept to change and copy The Simpsons. They decided to add a 3rd main character named Elmira. The show's name was changed to Pinky, Elmira, and the Brain. After that change, it only lasted 13 more episodes, with its popularity dwindling. An awesome show was ruined and canceled due to the executives' desire to copy someone else. And number 1, Hey Arnold. Hey Arnold was a hugely successful cartoon that was on Nickelodeon from 1996 through 2004. It was centered around a 4th grader named Arnold. Arnold lived in a multiracial boarding house with his grandparents and a crazy assortment of friends and neighbors in a fictional big city. The episodes focus on him navigating big city life. The creator of the show, Craig Bartlett, wasn't finished with Hey Arnold when he ended up in a contract dispute with Nickelodeon. At the time, Bartlett was in high demand and wanted to work on projects other than what he was doing for Nickelodeon. However, Nickelodeon wanted him to work exclusively for them. Nickelodeon refused to budge, and this caused Bartlett to leave the network while Hey Arnold was still on the air, effectively ending the show. And that is it for the video, guys. As always, thanks for watching. We hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more, and I'll see you all later.